The first thing we're going to learn related to cueing is called anticipatory cueing. So our anticipatory cueing is a verbal cue that we give to be able to notify the participants that a change is about to occur so that when the change happens, everyone is prepared and we can all move together as a group and then people feel more successful. So something related to anticipatory cueing, a couple rules, we're always going to count backwards. So that way participants know how many reps we have left to complete versus counting up where we might never stop and so they're never going to know, okay, we only have 2 more to do, I can do this, versus if we count down, we're going to count 8, 7, 6, 5, so we know, okay, we're only going to do 3 more, I can make it. I can give 3 last good pushes and I'll get these reps finished. So, something else that we're going to talk about is always having people start on the downbeat or the strongest beat of the music. Most people will hear the downbeat of the music, but there will be others that hear the upbeat, which is the weaker pulse of the music, and that's okay. But to cue our participants, we are always going to cue starting on the downbeat or the strongest beat. So, what we're going to do, like I mentioned just a couple seconds ago, we're going to start counting at 8 and work our way down to 1. So we'll start at 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for our counts. So the way that we're going to do this, we're going to start counting or cueing anticipatorily, if that's a word, on the 8 count or the strongest downbeat. So we're going to count, instead of saying 8, we're going to start by saying 4, 3, now we give our cue. Now we can begin our anticipatory cueing immediately on the top of that 8 count. And we're going to give our actual cue for the movement change, or whatever movement we're about to do, on the 4 count. So we'll do that one more time. We're going to do 4, 3, now we give our cue. And then the very last 1 count that we have, we can use as a filler, we can add a clap or a motivational cue or word of encouragement. So we might say something like, let's go, or let's do this, whatever it is, whatever your cue is for the day that you want to motivate your participants with. The tricky part is if we wait until the 3, 2, or the 1 count to give our cue as far as what direction or what new move we're going, it'll be too late and we're going to have to really rush to spit out the words, or we'll cue too late and we'll miss starting our move at the top of the next 8 count, if that makes sense. So we absolutely must be done giving our movement change cue / directional cue, however you want to view it as, by the 2 count. So when we say 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, we have to have it absolutely done and out, because if we wait until the 1 again, we'll be behind. Okay, so that 1 is just kind of like a filler. It's there to give people time to process what we just said. So we gave them the 4, 3, so they know something's about to change, and then we gave them the cue. Okay, so we need to give them that 1 count, that tiny fraction of a second, for them to process, okay, something new is going to happen, I heard what they said, and now we're going to all be ready to move together. Okay, time to practice all this information that I just gave you. So what we're going to do, we're going to stand up, and all we're going to do is practice clapping to the 8 count or the downbeat of the music the whole time. That's all we're going to do. It's literally just clap. So whenever we hear the strongest beat of the music, just feel free to clap along. So I'm going to start right here. So we'll say 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5. 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8. What we'll do now is try and hear the top of the 8 count. So the top of the 8 count is always where we want to move to something new, usually, and change our move. So what we can do is, instead of just clapping, we can, to find the beat, we're going to go ahead. To find the beat, we're going to pat our hands on our legs, and every time we hear the top of the 8 count, we'll clap our hands, just to show a good distinction between the two. So starting whenever you feel ready, Whenever you hear that strongest beat, so the top of the 8 will be right here. So we'll clap. 8. 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now if we add a anticipatory cueing, we're going to say 4, 3, move to the right. 4, 3, jabs to the left. 4, 3, shake it however you want to. 4, 3, step touch right here. 4, 3, D step here. 4. Now we're going to try cueing and moving at the same time. So we're just going to start with a simple march. We'll turn the music back on. We're going to start on our right foot. I'll mirror you guys. We're going to start on our right and start cueing at the top of the 8. And we'll say 4, 3, V step here. And we'll just keep going back and forth between a V step, which is a simple move, and a march in place. Again, another simple move. So we'll just keep going back and forth between those two moves to practice our anticipatory cueing and hearing the top of the 8 count. March it right. 4, 3, V step here. 4, 3, march it out. 4, 3, back to our V step. 4, 3, big march, get those knees up. 4, 3, back to our V step. March it out. 4, 3, V step here. 4, 3, back to that march. 4, 3, V step. You're not big right step with those feet. March it out. Here we go. 4, 3, V step here. Nice job. Now we know how to use anticipatory cueing to help change a move from one to the other and to help our participants anticipate what we're going to do next with enough time to think about it and then go to that next move. So now what we're going to do is talk about lead leg for a couple seconds. So it's really important that we know which lead leg we're on to avoid any kind of confusion among our participants and the people in our class. So for example, I'll show you a demonstration of a march, and I want you to pick up on which foot is the lead leg or the lead foot. So what we should notice is that every time my right foot steps, it steps on the downbeat. So every time we hear an even count, so the 8, 6, 4, or 2, my right foot should be striking the floor on the downbeat. That's going to be because my right foot is my lead leg. Now again, I'm going to mirror you guys, so don't get the mirrored image all confused in your brain. I'm technically starting on my left, yes, but I'm going to mirror you guys and cue to the right, if that makes sense. So every time my right foot steps, we should be on an even count. All right, go ahead and hop up, stand up if you're not already. Try this with me. We're just going to march and count out loud, starting at 8, working our way down to 1. We're going to start on our right side first, and I'll cue you through it. Cue out loud with me. So starting with our right foot, we're just going to start marching. So we're on our right foot first, and we're just going to start counting back down from 8 to 1. So here we go. We're going to start 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 8. So every time we get to that 8, I want you to overemphasize your step so you can hear the top of the 8 count again. Here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's do it for every time we hear an even count. So it'll be every other time, or every time we step on our right foot. Here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? So that means we're on our right leg. So let's play some music and test this out and see how it feels. All right, so we're looking for the strongest beats. We're going to start on our right leg first, and just overemphasize the step or the downbeat on that right leg every time so you can feel the strong speed. Here we go. It's 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8. Good. 8. You can do a little dip if you want. Little swerve to the right. Good. So still marching. Now we're going to stay on our right lead leg, and I'm going to cue you to do something to go to the left. Hopefully, it should feel a little awkward. Give me a grapevine to the left. Yeah? Did we have to kind of tap our foot before we could move that way? Probably. If not, we might have been on the left leg to begin with. So, let's do that again, and I'll cue you into a new move, starting at the top of the 8 again. Let's start with a march, right leg, right here, march it out. In 4, 3, step touch this leg. So it was easy for us to move to the step touch because we were ready to transfer the weight this direction, right? 4, 3, march it on our right. March. Again, easy to transfer the weight. 4, 3, step touch, here we go. 4, 3, V step, here we go. 4, 3, back to that march. 4, 3, step touch, you know it. 4, 3, V step, here we go, big step. 4, 3, back to our march, knees up. Good. So did we see how everything flows well together if we stay on the same side, right? If we want to change our lead leg, we'll need to do a move that's self-reversing, which we'll talk about a little bit later, or you can watch the self-reversing video. It'll explain it a little bit more. But anyhow, so we want to make sure that we stay on the same leg. If we end up switching the direction in the middle of an 8 count, it's going to throw us off our lead leg, and our participants will feel that. It'll feel a little awkward, uncomfortable. We'll probably have to stop the group to get everyone to come back together. So it's really important to notice which lead leg you're on. All right, so now that we have learned about anticipatory cueing, we've learned to hear the top of the 8 count, or the strongest beat of the music, and the importance of knowing which lead leg you're on, right? Okay, so now the most important thing that we're going to do is learning how to hear the top of the 32 count. The top of the 32 count is usually what comes along when we hear a big change in the music. We might change from the verse to the chorus, or we might hear something like a cymbal crash, something to indicate that something new is happening or a change is happening, right? Because that's when we want to change our move. Or we might be changing our combination. Whatever it is that we're doing, it's helping to anticipate that something is happening or something different is happening. So, as soon as the 32 count phrase begins, we begin counting down from our first 8 count to the last 8 count. So there should be 4 8 counts in a 32 count phrase or combination. So the really cool thing about Group X music is that they make it for us so that way it's a constant BPM if you're teaching a cardio-based class, and you can do your movements, your combos for 4 8 counts to complete a full 32 count phrase. So if you choreograph or create your combinations or whatever it is in your class to mimic that 32 count phrasing, you'll come out really evenly. And then once you get really good at hearing that 32 count and the beat of the music, you won't have to count all of your reps that you're doing because you'll be able to hear it in the music and you'll know, okay, I did this or I held this move for a full 32 counts, so now we're going to change and we're going to do it on the left side or the right side, the opposite side that we haven't done yet, to balance out those muscles and the movements in general. Does that make sense? So, what we're going to do, at the very top of the last, or the fourth, however you want to view it, 8 count in our 32 count phrase, okay, we must start our anticipatory cueing. So unless we're going to keep holding the move, we don't need to cue, or we don't need to have them change. But at the very last 8 count in our 32 count phrase, that's when we need to start our anticipatory cueing. So our 4, 3, now we're going to move. Or 4, 3, jabs to the right, whatever it is, okay? So if we don't do this, then we're going to miss the top of the 32, okay? If you cue too soon, we're going to change before the top of the 32. If you cue too late, we're going to miss it. The timing on that is crucial. So if for some reason you miss the top of the 32, we're going to build in some kind of hover move or a move that you picked prior to class. Pick a couple moves prior to class. So that way, if you miss something, you don't just have to keep holding the same move forever and ever and ever. And it's okay if you miss the top of the 32. It happens. I miss it all the time. I've been teaching for a while. So just know that if you go into your class and you pick a couple moves just as a backup to have in the back of your brain that, oh, I fudged up, and so now I'm going to have them change to this move, even though it's not the move we had planned to go into next. It'll still be different. We won't be holding the same move for 2 to 3 minutes at a time just because we missed the top of 32. So, enough rambling. We're going to get up and try this. Actually, we'll stay seated for this one. So for this one, we'll turn on the music, and instead of clapping, we're going to do both. We're going to clap when we hear the top of the 8 count, and we're going to raise our hand when we hear the top of the 32. Or maybe we'll do something like, woo, or whatever we want to do, okay? So that we know we hear the top of the 32. So remember, it's going to be like a loud cymbal crash, the chorus is going to change, something is going to feel different in the music, and it's probably going to feel like it's building, 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 smash, change, something happens, and then we're going to hear the top of the 32. And that's when we should start a new combo or a new movement, okay? We're just going to first start by patting our hands on our legs again when we find the downbeat. Then when we're ready, we'll clap when we hit the top of the 8. Then, to know that we found the top of the 32, we're going to do something fun. I don't know. We'll do 32, okay? So, it's going to be that big change where the difference is cymbal crash, something that we hear to help us signify that it's the top of the 32 again. Are we ready? Whenever we're ready, here we go, top of the 32. 4, 3, 2, 1, 8. Here's the third. Get ready to cue. 4, 3, top of the 32. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's 2. 3. Get ready. 4, 3, top of the 32. Rise them up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2. 3, come up. 3. Last one. 4, 3. Now we're going to do the 32. I don't know, 32. 2. 2 more. Here we go. This is 3. Get ready. Give me a cue. It's 4, 3. Do the Dougie, right? Good. So, hopefully we were able to hear the top of the 32 that time. So, I'm going to encourage you, rewatch this portion of the video, close your eyes, and try it by yourself. Can you do it without watching me? Maybe just hearing the cues. But try and cue along. Alright, now we're going to put it all together. We're going to choose 4 simple moves with the last move that's going to change our lead leg. So that way we can do a combination of these 4 moves. Right side, left side, back and forth a couple times. So that way it flows and matches the music and stays true to the 32s. So get up again, do this with me, and let's try it out. All right, are we ready? We're going to start on our right foot, marching it out. I'll cue us in. 4, 3, march it on our right. We're going to hold it here. Top of the 32. So we're going to say 4, 3, B step here. 4, 3, step touch this way. 4, 3, give me the repeater. 4, 3, march it on our left. 4, 3, B stand here. Big stance. 4, 3, step touch this way. 4, 3, knee repeater, 4 knees. It's 4, 3, back to that march. 4, 3, V-step here. Are you hearing the top of the 32 every time we come to the march? Step touch, 4. How did we do? Did we do okay? Could we hear the music? Could we hear the top of the 32? Every time we came back to the march was when the top of the 32 came around. So, a couple tips and tricks that I think will help some of the first-time instructors kind of alleviate that anxiety. So one of the biggest things that we tend to do when we first start leading is to literally just lose all emotion. We stop engaging with our participants or the people in our class, and all we're trying to focus on is the top of that 32. So we're marching, marching, marching. Oh shoot, when is it coming? And then we're, instead of talking to them and motivating them, we start counting in our head. So instead of doing that, we're just going to keep practicing and practicing and practicing, hearing the 8 count, hearing the downbeat, hearing the top of the 32, whether we're in our car, whether we're walking our dog, whatever it is that you're doing. Get your MP3 player, whatever it is that you use to listen to music, put your headphones in and listen to this music over and over and over. Something that has a constant BPM, maybe something that's not too quick to start off with. I would recommend something like a 128 beats per minute, maybe 130, 132, something a little bit on the slower side to start off. And just literally keep listening to the same track over and over and over until you can start anticipating those changes and you can really hear the top of the 32 versus having to count every time it comes around so that you can cue. So knowing your music is going to be a big part of that. And it doesn't mean that you have to use the same CD or the same track every single time. Once you start to listen to it and you hear it, you'll be able to feel more comfortable and it'll just be more natural versus you having to really think about the cueing. And at that point, that's when you'll be able to really become a leader and you'll be able to smile and give motivational cues and really engage with your participants versus only focusing on all the things that you have to think about when you're leading, which is a ton. But something that a lot of people ask is, can I change my move if I don't start at the top of the 32? Let's say we're doing a combination, we're trying to break something down, and we end up having to hold something for longer than we planned, which is fine because no class has ever gone 100% the way that I've ever planned it. So don't freak out if it doesn't go the way you plan. Just know that, of course, you can hold something for longer. All you need to do when you want to change something is to start at the top of the 8 count. Because if you start anywhere else, you'll more than likely change your lead leg to a leg that you didn't want to be on necessarily, or you might change in the middle of your 8 count. Let's say you might change your move on the 4 count in the very middle, which wouldn't get you off beat necessarily, but it would kind of mess up your flow and your whole entire 32 count combination, if you will. So to change your move, heck yeah, don't wait for the 32 to come around. If you don't want to, you don't have to hold them in a hover move. You can literally have them start the next top 8. So get your bearings straight, take a deep breath, hear that downbeat again, and cue them with your 4, 3, let's go back to a march this time, or 4, 3, we're moving to a plank. Whatever it is, you can do it at the top of the 8 count. It's completely fine. And even if you're running through a combination, you've got those 4 moves or however many, you're trying to put it together in a nice, neat combination, you're very into your class, you're tying everything together, and it doesn't work out as you plan, it's okay. Run it through, and then start back at the 32. Have them hold a jog, or have them hold whatever it is, those moves that you planned as your backup moves, to have them hold before you came to your class that day. Have them hold those moves. When you hear the top of the 32 coming around again, when you hear the top of that 4th 8 count, cue them into it, and you can just start it again. No big deal. You don't need to stop and have them completely stop the class or just stand in place. You'll be fine. You just start at the top of your 32 or your 8 count, and you'll be okay. I hope that this information was helpful. The biggest piece of advice I can give you from here is literally just keep practicing and practicing. Everyone starts somewhere. So if it doesn't come 100%, naturally at first, that's okay. Don't give up. Just literally keep listening to your music, and you'll be fine in no time. You'll hear the 32, you'll hear the downbeat, you'll be able to cue your class the way that you want to. Just keep practicing. One final helpful tip for when you start to get a little bit more comfortable and you can use your anticipatory cueing, you can hear the top of the 32 count, you've got it. You've nailed it, mastered it. we don't necessarily have to continue to cue 4, 3, now we're going to change. 4, 3, so and so and so. So instead we just might wait until we hear that 4 count. So we'll say 8, 7, 6, 5, move to the right. 8, 7, 6, 5, jog to the left, or whatever it is. We're obviously not going to say 8, 7, 6, 5. We're going to hear that innately in our head, and we'll just cue them to move one direction or another, or to change the exercise, whatever it is, because at that point we can hear the music well enough to cue them without having to say the 4, 3, da 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 da. Because it can, first of all, become very, you can get very winded from having to say it every single time you're trying to change, especially if you're rolling through a 32 count combination that happens very quickly, and each 8 count is a completely different move that's new. So at that point, like I said, the better that you get and the more that you practice, you'll be comfortable, just kind of, you'll be able to hear when you would normally say 4, 3, but instead, you'll just start cueing on the actual 4 count itself. Just like before, you're really just getting rid of the 4, 3. So it'll give you a little bit more breath, and it'll save some energy as well.